Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبيه ومصطفاه نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Brothers and sisters, welcome to another live edition of your program Ask Huda. Our phone numbers beginning with area code are 002-023855, 131 or 132. The Facebook page is Dr. Muhammad Salah Official. We don't have pending questions from the previous episode, which is a good thing, but we have a very large volume of questions that I received on the page, which I will begin by answering some of them, inshallah, while waiting for your valuable calls and concerns. Muhammad Ahmad have deposited 3 questions in our inbox. The first question is zakah only given in Ramadan, or one can give it whenever he wants? There are 2 types of zakah. There is zakah on one's wealth and possession and investment, and there is zakah which is known as sadaqatul fitr. Sadaqatul fitr is pertaining to Eid al-Fitr by the end of Ramadan and before attending the Eid prayer. So Sadaqatul Fitr is concerning breaking your fast on the last day of Ramadan and before offering the Eid prayer, which is simply sa'. A sa' is a couple mud, approximately 2.5 kilogram of food, of wheat, of rice, of barley, of dates, of raisin, on behalf of every family member who is under your guardianship, which is due only once every year in Ramadan as means of expiation for one's sins, and also as means of feeding the poor so that they can have a happy Eid and celebrate Eid like the rest of the people. The nisab, or the person who should pay this zakah, is a person who have enough food for himself and his family members for a day and night. So a very large scale of Muslims will end up paying this zakah, because it is not only limited to the rich people. While the other zakah, which is zakatul mal, zakah on one's wealth, whether in the form of investment or in the form of saving, it is due upon possessing the nisab and having this nisab for one complete lunar year. So we have 2 conditions for the payment of zakatul mal, or zakah on one's wealth. The first condition is an-nisab, which is a minimum threshold. That nisab is determined by the Prophet ﷺ. 85 grams of gold or its equivalent of cash, or 595 grams of silver, or again its equivalent. Whichever value is lesser, that is the nisab. So for instance, 85 grams of gold as of today approximately cost $2,839 approximately. Okay? So if you begin possessing this amount, which is your money, it's not a loan, nor is it a debt that you owe somebody, or is it an amana that somebody kept with you. It's your money. Whether you invest it, you give it to somebody to invest in it, or you have saved it in a safe deposit box, in a bank account, in a current account, in a saving account. You keep it under your pillow. So this money, if you keep it for one complete lunar year, this money, this amount, or what is above. So if 3,000 or 2,800 plus is a nisab, then 3,000, 4,000, 40,000, 80,000 is definitely zakatable. Al-Hawl is when you round about an entire lunar year. So it has nothing to do with Ramadan or Sha'ban or any particular month unless if it begins on that month. In other words, if you start actually possessing $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000, now it was the beginning of Jumada al-Awwal. You inherited that much money, or you accepted a new job and they give you a bonus. So now you have $5,000 in your account. It's saving. You kept this $5,000 for an entire year, lunar year. So we go by the Islamic calendar. When did you start having this amount of money? It was in Jumada al-Awwal. Which date? 14th, 15th, any date. So next year, next lunar year, 1438, inshallah, you look into your positions. How much do you have? I only have like a couple thousand, 2,500. You don't have to pay any zakah. Now I have 30,000. It began at 3, now I have 30. So on the due date, which you started possessing an nisab, you must pay zakah on the entire sum of what you have. Even if some of that you have earned as a result of investment or a salary or whatever, a couple days or a day before the due date. 15th, 14th, Jumada al-Awwal of the next year. You check out how much do you have. I have that much in saving, that much investment, that much in stock shares. And also I invested with somebody in a car lot, in an automobile, in whatever. You estimate whichever value that you guys earn according. Yani, somebody is selling goods, a wholesale. He's a wholesaler, not a retailer. So you check out and you appraise how much is the value of all the goods that you have in your shop, in your store, in the storage, wholesale price. The entire inventory, wholesale price. Another person is a retailer. So you do an estimate of how much is the entire inventory based on a retail sale price. Now it is 80, 90, 100,000. You pay zakah on the entire amount. How much is it? That's another thing which is called the rate. 2.5%. So if you have 100,000, whether it is saving or investment or you set it on a side to get married, to perform Hajj, this money is yours. In this case, every year, when it comes to the same date, when you started possessing a nisab, you pay 2.5%. On each 100,000, you pay 2,500, 2,500. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Muhammad from Bangladesh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, brother, and welcome to Ask Huda.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for my question answer regarding Harut and Marut.
Okay. Thank you.
My next question is that true? The 7 earth on a cow, the cow on a plate, and the plate on a fish, and the fish on water. Is that true? Can you answer me online?
No, I can answer you now. I never heard of that, and I don't know where did you bring this from. We only know that in Surah Al-Talaq, Allah the Almighty says that He has created 7 heavens. Okay? Then He said, وَمِنَ الْأَرْضِ مِثْلَهُنْ. And similar to that, the earth, indicating that the earth is also 7 layers of earth. يَتَنَزَّلُ الْأَمْرُ بَيْنَهُنْ لِتَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ أَحَاطَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عِلْمًا. So this is the ayah in the Quran which refers to the creation of the earth the same way the heaven is created, 7 layers on top of each other. but on top of a plate or a cow or a fish and all of that, I don't have any idea about all what you have said. Barakallah feek, brother Muhammad from Bangladesh. This is basically speaking about the knowledge of the unseen. There is only one source to learn about the unseen: Allah Himself. When Allah the Almighty said in Surah Luqman, إن الله عنده علم الساعة وينزل الغيث ويعلم ما في الأرحام وما تدري نفس ماذا تكسب غدا وما تدري نفس بأي أرض تموت. This ayah indicated that Allah preserved for Himself the knowledge of certain aspects. That's called the knowledge of the unseen. No one have any clue about it. So, عالم الغيب والشهادة فلا يظهر على غيب عالم الغيب فلا يظهر على غيبه أحدا. So Allah the Almighty is the knower of the unseen, and He does not allow anyone to know the unseen إلا من ارتضى من رسول, except certain people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with to send as messengers to inform us about some of the unseen. Like now we learn that the earth is formed of 7 layers because of the ayah of Surah Al-Talaq, the last ayah of Surah Al-Talaq. But other than that, we have no clue. Similarly, there is no way that we would have known that as-sama' consists of 7 heavens. خَلَقَ سَبْعَ سَمَاوَاتٍ طِبَاقًا. He created 7 layers of the heaven. We did not reach heaven. I know that we were able to reach Mars, the moon, but not heaven. Okay? These are small, small planets. So in order to know how the earth is created or the heavens is created, the only reference or the only source is Allah Himself. And I don't have a reference to that. Barakallah feek, Akhi Muhammad. Muhammad Ahmad's second question is, what is the exact amount of money that one has to have in order to give zakah? And I guess I did answer this question while answering your previous question. That is called an-nisab, which is the first condition in order to pay zakah or to be required to pay zakah, is to possess an-nisab for an entire lunar year. The exact amount is the value of, whether it's gold or silver, if you already possess that much gold or that much silver, or their value in any form or shape, in the form of cash, in the form of goods, if you're an investor, if you're a trader, okay, in the form of a property that you are dealing with, you're selling and buying properties, flats, in the form of vehicles. So a nisab is 85 grams of gold or 595 grams of silver. His third question is, if someone collects an amount of money for something to buy, for example, I have collected 12,000 US dollar to buy a car, but I don't know where I'm going to buy it. Do I have to pay zakah on that money? Yes, once your zakah payment is due, you pay zakah on any saving, even if the saving was to get married, to pay for your Hajj package, to move to a new house, or to buy a new car. Because this money is yours, as long as you have not used it yet. If it was due and you paid it before the due date of paying the zakah, then you're not required to pay any zakah on it. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Zainab from Nigeria.
Alaikum assalam, Sheikh. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you and the family?
Great, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
Okay, Sheikh. My question is, I read a hadith that says Isha prayer is more rewarding and more rewarding if delayed. But for a man, I know that it's better for you to go to the mosque and pray. And in the hadith it says Isha prayer is more rewarding if delayed. So please, can you educate me more on this?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you are a man and attending the prayer, then you go with the flow. So if the Imam of the Masjid prays Isha on its earliest time, then you should attend the Isha with them. If the community agree to postpone Isha, like sometimes they do that in summer, sometimes they do that in Ramadan, that is permissible. But for women who pray at home, if they want to pray Isha at a later time, that is permissible too. Okay? But in fact, the Prophet ﷺ was asked about the best prayer. He said, or the best deed. He said, الصلاة لوقتها, or الصلاة على وقتها. To pray any prayer on its earliest time, once the time has entered. If you think that you're staying up, you can postpone Isha. But make sure, brothers and sisters, according to the vast majority of the scholars, that the last time for Isha is midnight, not till Fajr, as it is commonly known in the Hanafi madhab. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Juwayriya from Uganda.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have 3 questions, Sheikh.
Yeah.
My first question, there is some words you wrote on your page that if you read them in the morning, you are saved from committing from any harmful thing. I would like to know more about that, Sheikh. Like you said, La ilaha illallah wa adahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku yuhyi wa yumiitu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. I would like to know about that hadith, Sheikh. I do not understand very well.
Okay. Thank you.
My second question is about, is it halal if I buy online and I resell again?
Okay.
My third question is about, subhanallah, I think those are the 2 questions I have.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Juwayriya from Uganda. There are multiple supplications for prevention of any harm during the day if you recite this adhkar in the morning. One of them is saying, لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير 100 times in the morning before sunrise. كانت له حرزا من يومه. Al-Hirz is like a shield or a protection. Hirz from Satan. Hirz from the harm. So no Satan could approach you nor harm you on the day if you say in the morning, لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. And I'm pretty sure most of you already know the meaning of that. It is a kalima of declaring that there is no God to be worshipped but Allah alone, and He is the only one who is worthy of worship. To Him belong the praise and the dominion, and He is able to do all things. This is one supplication. I will mention the other after this call. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Abdul Hadi from the KSA.
Yeah, good evening, brother.
Good evening, King.
I'm very glad to hear from you again. Sheikh, my question is this. Is it, am I sinning? I know that this is not allowed to label a brother or a Muslim brother with, if in case that they are not, if they're doing something wrong or bad, to be labeled them as kafir, for example, in a very bad way, yani. So in case that if there are some Muslim or who is verbally in favor of those non-Muslim leader or for example in Syria, there are some people who is in favor of that leader, for example. Am I sinning if I label them as kafir as well? Because they are supporting verbally the unjust or the transgressor leader like Bashar Assad, for example. So it is not allowed for me, because this is what I feel.
Okay.
Because there are some people or some Syrian people who is verbally in favor of that guy. They defend that guy. Unfortunately, they are Muslim, but they are in favor of that leader. I told them this is not good because we are both Muslim. They said no. The situation in Syria is more than that, brother. They defend that leader. I don't know. What is your stand on that issue?
طيب.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Barakallah fiqh, brother Abdul Hadi from the KSA. The second supplication for protection is to say بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم, to say that 3 times. In the name of Allah, with whose name nothing in the heavens nor in the earth could harm. And He is the all-hearer, the all-seer. وهو السميع البصير. So this supplication, if you say 3 times in the morning and similarly 3 times in the evening, you will have a protection during the day and likewise during the evening. I highly recommend to you, brothers and sisters, to recite the adhkar of the morning and the evening on regular basis, and you will find them in a little booklet which is known as the Fortress of the Muslim. You will find the Arabic text, the English text, and the transliteration. So even if you do not know how to recite Arabic, you will be able to read it in Latin letters. Okay, hopefully until you memorize them and learn how to recite them. More than 10 years ago, I recorded a CD of the Adhkar, Arabic and English. And even though now it's an old-fashioned CD or whatever, but some people are still using it. Perhaps you can download the Adhkar in Arabic and in English. You can play it in your car as you're going to work in the morning and also as you're returning from school, from work, so that you can recite them until you memorize them, inshallah. And it becomes a regular habit to recite this Adhkar every day and every night. Brother Abdul Hadi, Sister Juwaria had a second question. Selling and buying online, selling some items and reselling them online, is it permissible? It is permissible provided the same conditions of selling and buying in the real world, like in the market, in a shop, in a store, or in the flea market. So number one shouldn't sell anything which is not lawful. Number two, one shouldn't sell anything which he actually does not possess. And this is very common, unfortunately. People sell things which they do not possess, so that once they make a contract to sell a certain amount, they order it from another store, from another online store, or whatever. What if you try to order it and it's not there? And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Hakim ibn Hizam, may Allah be pleased with him, لا تبع ما ليس عندك. You're not allowed to sell anything which you do not actually possess. It is not allowed to sell anything and make an interest based on the delay or postponing the payment. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dora from United Arab Emirates.
Yes, assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, sir. I have one question, please.
Go ahead.
This is something which has been bothering me for a really, really long time. Now, I do understand that as Muslims and as human beings, when we see injustice, specifically things like bullying, for example, or somebody weak being, hurt in front of us, we need to get involved. We need to try, protect that the weak side, etc. And I used to do that since I was a child, despite the fact that I was a little girl. But what's happening now is I have moved from the UK to the Arab country, and I have to say I'm actually witnessing quite a lot of zina around me. I'm sorry to say, and it's really, really hurtful because some of my expectations have been completely crashed. But what I'm seeing is quite a few perhaps single, perhaps married Arab men, going around with their girlfriends, mostly from Filipinos, young girls, holding hands. They're not even hiding it. And there's so much of that around me that I get really, really upset. And sometimes I really get involved. I go and give salam and say, you should be ashamed of yourself. You probably married your Muslim brother. What are you doing with this lady, etc.? But the thing is, I look into different kinds of, school on this. On one hand, I understand that, we should say something when we see wrong. On the other hand, I see that I'm picking fights with people, and it's really, really upsetting for me. But more importantly, I think I'm actually creating a lot of tension now as well. On the other hand, I came across saying that we should look away, we should not get involved with things which do not concern us, trying to keep the peace. So I'm really, really torn on this, sir. I find it very difficult not to get involved, and I would love to know your opinion on this, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. May Allah bless you. Thank you so much. I will answer you soon as I answer Abdul Hadi's question, inshallah. But I guess we have to take a short break, and inshallah soon after that I will answer these pending 2 questions. Please stay tuned.
Commercials motivate viewers into immediate action and to sway consumer loyalty from one brand or service to the other. That's why we're here for you, to help you sell your products and services by using creative ideas that bring life into your own TV commercial. Advertise your business and branded products and services on Huda TV. We will offer you fast-paced and energetic 30-second affordable TV spots. Advertise on Huda TV. Acquire fresh customers and stay within your budget. For more info or to receive a quote, please send your inquiries to advert@Huda TV. Huda TV.
This is the Dean Show. 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 This is the Dean Show.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Deen Show. From time to time, we answer some of your questions. We have so many important issues that we're dealing with here on the Deen Show, and we encourage you to come back here every week. And if you don't catch us on the TV station, you can go to thedeenshow.com where all of our shows are there.
It is important for us when we look at the issue of holiday myths, that we look at the whole picture. And from the beginning of time, people worshipped the Creator in different ways. The Quran tells us in the chapter of the Bee, Surah An-Nahl, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنْ يَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ.
Maryam, how are you?
Good, alhamdulillah.
Thank you for being with us on the Deen Show.
You're welcome.
So how old are you again?
I'm 8 years old.
I didn't want to get that wrong. 8 years old. And you've memorized how many juz of the Quran?
I memorized 21 juz from the Quran.
21 juz. MashaAllah.
As you know that there is no concept of clergyman in Islam.
There isn't?
There is not.
Okay.
And this idea is supposed to be very liberating. Nobody comes between you and your Creator.
Okay.
You do not need an operator. It's a direct call. So Islam rejects the whole notion of clergyman. So a sheikh, imam is a title that is given to a person like myself when the community feels that you're worthy of it. And it's just a title out of respect.
This is the Dean Show.
Whoever believes in Allah and the Last Day, let him maintain strong family ties. A hadith that I came across, which made me decide to make a surprise visit to my sister in Pennsylvania. When I read it, I was overcome by shame, since the last time I actually saw my sister was last year, when she asked me to babysit her daughter Fatima. My sister asked me to take care of Fatima for a few days as she was about to give birth to a second daughter. To be completely honest, I had no clue how to take care of a baby girl. I could hardly take care of myself, but I couldn't say no to my sister. When my brother-in-law dropped her off, she didn't even know how to say my name. I had no idea how I was supposed to entertain her. I didn't even know how to break the ice. So I started.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. And here is a quick reminder with our phone numbers: area code 002-023855, 131 or 132. Brother Abdul Hadi asked a very interesting question, and it is not really far away from Sister Dora's question. Abdul Hadi from the KSA inquired about those who support the oppressors and those who support the wrongdoers who kill their fellow Muslims and they favor them. Aren't they like them? In fact, let me share with you what Allah the Almighty says in this regard in Surah Hud and in Surah Al-Hajj. In Surah Hud, in ayah number 113, Allah the Almighty says, وَلَا تَرْكَنُوا إِلَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا فَتَمَسَّكُمُ النَّارِ. لَا تَرْكَنُوا means do not incline towards the unjust, those who are unjust, the wrongdoers, the oppressors. فَتَمَسَّكُمُ النَّارِ lest the fire of hell will touch you. وَمَا لَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ مِنْ أَوْلِيَاءَ ثُمَّ لَا تُنصَرُونَ. And you will find no supporters against Allah, and you will not be given any victory. Allah the Almighty threatens and warns those who support or ally or incline towards the oppressors that they will be treated the same like them and they will be thrown in fire. In Surah Al-Hajj, Allah the Almighty says, كُتِبَ عَلَيْهِ أَنَّهُ مَنْ تَوَلَّاهُ فَأَنَّهُ يُضِلُّهُ وَيَهْدِيهِ إِلَى عَذَابِ السَّعِيرِ. It has been ordained against the person who would take him as an ally. This pronoun tawallahu is referring to Satan. And it is also referring to every misleading person or factor or unjust ruler or oppressor. فَأَنَّهُ يُضِلُّهُ. Most certainly that's ordained by Allah, that this would mislead him. وَيَهْدِيهِ إِلَىٰ عَذَابِ السَّعِيرِ, and shall lead him to the blazing fire. May Allah protect us against that. Al-Urs ibn Amirah al-Kindi. This is a very interesting hadith. Al-Urs ibn Amirah al-Kindi narrated a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا عُمِلَتِ الْخَطِيئَةُ فِي الْأَرْضِ كان من شهدها فأنكرها كمن غاب عنها. This is one of the very, very important hadith. Because enjoining what is good, forbidding what is evil, stopping the oppressors is one of the utmost part of the acts of worship and one of the greatest deeds in Islam. Not to forget that Allah the Almighty made this ummah, the ummah of Muhammad, peace be upon him, superior because of this quality. The quality of enjoining what is good and forbidding what is evil. When he said, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ in Surah Al-Imran. You were indeed the best ummah produced to mankind because of what? تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. Because of you enjoining what is good, you forbidding what is evil, and believing in Allah and the oneness of Allah. So إذا عملت الخطيئة في الأرض كان من شهدها وكرهها, or in another narration فأنكرها كمن غاب عنها. When the sin, any sin, because the word خطيئة is anonymous, any sin, whether it's a little one or big one, if any sin is committed before your eyes, فأنكرها, you condemn it, you object to it, you try to correct it. أو فكرهها, sometimes you don't have the guts, you're afraid that they will slay your throat, they will slay you, slit your throat. So you're afraid that you'll be hurt, so you dislike it, but in your heart you cannot say a word. And this is the least level of Iman. Whoever will object to it, whether by action or verbally or at least by the heart, كان كمن غاب عنها. You will not be blameworthy whatsoever. You will be like you haven't seen it, because you are not required to change the world. You are only required to exert the maximum effort you can. You're not required to throw yourself in harm's way. The rest of the hadith says, and this is a message to a lot of people who sit before the cameras, on the screens, to spread the evil and to support the oppressors. And they think that they are safe. And their hands are not wet with their blood. No. They are as bad as the oppressors and the tyrants. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَإِذَا عُمِلَتِ الْخَطِيئَةُ فِي الْأَرْضِ كان من غاب عنها فأقرها أو فرضيها كمن شهدها. And if a sin, like a murder, our brothers and sisters in Gaza being under siege, those who are oppressing them are the Jews and the Zionists. Those who agree to that are like them exactly. Maybe they are Muslims. Maybe they pray and fast, but they are like the oppressors exactly. You give an example of what is happening in Syria. You know, hundreds of thousands of innocent lives have been taken without any justification. Chemical weapons have been used and they are being used. Those who agree to that, approve that, or do not dislike that by their hearts at least, are partners in these crimes. They are as bad as the criminals themselves. This is what the hadith says. إِذَا عُمِلَتِ الْخَطِيئَةُ فِي الْأَرْضِ كَانَ مَنْ غَابَ عَنْهَا. You're sitting in the KSA. I'm sitting in whatever. But I agree to that. I don't mind. You're as bad as the murderers. You're as bad as the perpetrators. كَانَ مَنْ غَابَ عَنْهَا فَرَضِيَهَا كَمَنْ شَهِدَهَا. May Allah protect us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Muhammad from United Arab Emirates.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a question regarding the time of Maghrib prayer.
Naam.
I have read that the time of Maghrib ends when the red twilight disappears from the sky, and the time of Isha begins. So the time of Maghrib prayer, so it becomes cover before Isha, or it's like I can pray till Isha, or it's or in some cases I have read that there's only a time period of necessity where it's around only 20-30 minutes. So I have a doubt regarding that.
Right.
So when does time of Maghrib actually end?
Okay.
So that's my question.
Thank you, Akhi. Barakallahu feek. Sister Medina from Ethiopia.
Hello. Hello. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Medina, you're live on Ask Huda. Go ahead.
I have two questions.
Yeah?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. My question is, can you hear me, Sheikh?
Yes, I hear you. Go ahead, but there is a long delay. So go ahead and just present your question one shot, please.
Okay. You said that Isha is till midnight.
Yeah?
So what if you pray Salatul Witr Al-Isha till midnight, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. What if we pray Salatul Witr late if you want to fast that day?
You said, what is the time to pray witr? Is that your question?
My question is that with Al-Isha is midnight, but if you want to pray Salatul Witr late after 2 a.m., is it possible?
طيب, okay, I got your question.
Okay. And my second question is that, second question I have.
Yeah?
Taking contraceptive pills, pregnancy.
Contraceptives.
For time interval, not for forbidding the pregnancy. Is it possible to take? Is it permissible in Islam?
You're asking about using contraceptives.
Yeah, contraceptive, yeah.
Okay.
Can you make it clear for me, Sheikh?
Yeah, inshallah. Go ahead.
Yes, Sheikh. Thank you. That's all the question I have. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair.
وجزاكم. Thank you. Barakallah fiki. Sister Dora from United Arab Emirates is asking about what she sees of some Arab men committing what she described as zina and hanging around with the women, taking them as girlfriends. Okay, number one, no doubt that we all object to that and we condemn that, but to describe this act as zina, this is inaccurate. Adultery or zina is when you see somebody having a complete sexual intercourse. So when I see somebody is walking in the street with a prostitute, this is haram. But this is not an actual act of zina, where I can say this person is an adulterer or this is an adulteress. Okay, we have to be very careful. We're trying to correct some errors. We don't want to fall into errors. And major errors too. We have to be very careful. And as far as advising those people whom you see walking around with women, taking them as girlfriends, you should do that. Yes, I just mentioned earlier, this is the quality for which Allah the Almighty favored this ummah. And Banu Israel, the children of Israel, have been admired by Allah in the Quran, but when they gave up on this quality, Allah the Almighty condemned them. When He said, لُعِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ عَلَى لِسَانِ دَاوُودَ وَعِيسَى بْنِ مَرْيَمَ ذَلِكَ بِمَا عَصَوْا وَكَانُوا يَعْتَدُونَ. So, Allah the Almighty said that those people have been accursed by Allah. Why? Because كانوا لا يتناهون عن منكر فعلوا. He used not to object to an evil that is done by some of them. He would not forbid the evil. So this is something which is forbidden. And if Muslims were to abandon the task which Allah the Almighty entrusted them with, it becomes very problematic to them as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to what is best. Brother Muhammad from United Arab Emirates, who asked about the red twilight for the time for Isha. If you just remember what I said in the first segment, when the Prophet ﷺ was asked about the best deed, he said, "As-salatu ala waqtiha," which means that the best deed is to pray at the earliest time of the prayer, if it is possible. But each prayer has a beginning time and an end time. So if you still pray before the end of the prayer time, the prayer is accepted and you're not blameworthy, but you're at risk. Why do you postpone the prayer? Especially when it comes to Maghrib, it is highly recommended to pray Maghrib as early as possible. Why? Because they say وَقْتُهَا مُضَيَّقْ. Its time is very, very short. You know, sometimes it is less than an hour. Sometimes in some places less than half hour. So because of that, you should pray Maghrib soon after sunset. But if somebody, as you said, that had a reason and he delayed Maghrib, but he prayed it before the Isha time, it is permissible and he is not blameworthy. Barakallahu feek. Sister Medina from Ethiopia asked about using contraceptives. That was the second question. I hope the brothers would remind me with the first question. It took a long time from Sister Medina to present the two questions. We said that contraceptives, if it is prescribed by a physician, because we do not take such medications over the counter without prescription, and whenever it is prescribed, like the other day I was asked that somebody, mashallah, his wife conceived a few months after she gave birth. And he was asking me about that. I said, you have all the right to give a gap, and this is actually recommended, to leave a gap between the pregnancies so that the mother will be able to attend to one child at a time. Allah the Almighty says in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَالْوَالِدَاتُ يُرْضِعْنَ أَوْلَادَهُنَّ حَوْلَيْنِ كَامِلَيْنِ. At least give 2 years for breastfeeding, at least. Then if you give another year or two until the child is able to stand on foot, that's permissible. Using contraceptives for these reasons, to leave a gap between the pregnancies, is permissible as long as it is prescribed by the physician. Sister Medina's first question was about praying witr. She said that if, based on what I mentioned earlier, that according to the sound hadith, that the last time for the Isha prayer is midnight. It is not extended till Fajr. This is how Jibreel alayhi salam came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and led him in each prayer. One day in its earliest time, then the second day at the last time, the latest time for each prayer. So for Isha it was midnight. When can you pray witr? Soon after you pray Isha. Whether you pray it at its earliest time or you delay it for an hour or two or whatever. I even mentioned in the last episode that if a person is traveling or have a concession to combine the Isha and the Maghrib together at the time of Maghrib, you can go ahead and pray witr soon after that. You don't have to wait until it is the actual time for Isha. Barakallahu feekum. May Allah bless you all and accept from all of us. May Allah guide us to what is best and teach us what we don't know. May Allah help us to act upon the useful knowledge that we learn and enable us to share it with others. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance.